o'clock, so I would like to welcome all to the...
Wait.
Oh, I'm ahead of the man over there. Give me a heads up when you're set there.
Yeah, just do a check and make sure everybody hears each other.
Okay.
And somebody asked if they can hear.
Can you all that are in virtually hear us? Okay, sounds like it. Can you hear them? Can we hear them?
Can you hear us? Okay.
Me?
Okay.
I'm here.
You're all looking very good tonight.
Now we're
You were ready now. Okay, thank you. This is the regular session of LaGrande City Council for May 4th, 2022. I'd like to invite everybody to stand with me and state our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we need a roll call next, please.
Steve Clemens,
Here.
Gary Lillard,
Here.
John Bozarth,
Here.
David Glabe,
Here.
Nicole Howard,
Here.
Marianne Meisner, here, Justin Rock.
Here.
Okay, before we really get underway, a little housekeeping here. The meeting is going to be available tonight for viewing via the city scheduled Charter Communications Channel 180, which is beginning now also as well, I hope, on the LaGrande Alive website at eoalive.tv/city-events/ or on the Eastern Oregon Alive TV Facebook page at www.facebook.com/eoalivetv. Also, as you can see on the screen up there, per ORS 192-6701, some counselors may be participating in this regular session by electronic communication. And in fact, we have 3 of them up there. Okay, agenda approval. Anything, Stacy, that we need to change, do? Or?
There's no changes that I'm
Okay.
aware of.
Very good. So we need to consider approving the consent agenda, and tonight that includes only one item, approving the regular session minutes from the last meeting of April 6th. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Due to our circumstances tonight, we're going to have a roll call vote.
Steve Clemens,
Yes.
Gary Lillard,
Yes.
John Bozarth,
Yes.
David Glabe,
Yes.
Nicole Howard,
Yes.
Marianne Meisner,
Yes.
Justin Rock.
Yes.
Stacy, I need to change. I just remembered that I was not present at the last meeting, so I'm going to abstain since I was not here for that one.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we are to the point where we can entertain public comments. Those individuals who wish to address the council in connection with any item that is on the agenda, you need to wait, please, and speak at that time. But if you have some items you want to bring up that are not on the agenda, this would be the time to come to the podium. There is a form up there to fill out your name and address. And then if you would also state your name before speaking. You don't have to state your address publicly, but just put that on the form. Is there anybody that would like to address the council this evening? Okay, please.
Hi, I'm Deb Cornford, Union County Fair Board member, City of LaGrande downtown business owner, and a citizen of Union County. As many of you may know, the LaGrande Fairgrounds or Union County Fairgrounds have had a failing water and wastewater problem for many years, and Anderson Perry has put together budgets over and over again for us to try to make this fix it. And this year, the board of directors that are with the fairgrounds have decided to make this long-lived problem a priority. We started brainstorming with help from Anderson Perry's engineer, Mike Lees, in 2021. Mike used a maximum capacity figures to evaluate our opportunities, ruling out on-site treatment lagoons, on-site septic systems, and store and haul due to the lack of space and extensive cost. The first official meeting was held on July 13th of 2021 with Representative Levy, Commissioner Scarfo, ODOT Region 5 Area Manager Ken Patterson, Mike Lees, Engineer of Anderson Perry, City of LaGrande Public Works Director Kyle Carpenter, Wastewater Superintendent Lyle Bridge, along with several Fair Board members in attendance. Discussions were held to find out what was an acceptable option in moving forward in connecting the fairgrounds water and wastewater system to the City of LaGrande. It was decided that the most workable solution would be to hang a sewer line on the 2nd Street Bridge, joining the system to the City of LaGrande's lift station located on Lake Avenue. At this time, the Fair Board went to work looking for funds with the help of Commissioner Scarfo. On January 24th, 2022, a meeting was held with ODOT to discuss the needs of what needed to be done in order to hang the sewer line on 2nd Street Bridge while construction was happening there. March 15th of 2022, a meeting was held to discuss Union County Fairgrounds situation with many agencies represented. Courtney Crowell of the Governor's Office, Commissioner Scarfo, City of LaGrande Manager Robert Strobe, Public Works Director Kyle Carpenter, City Planner Mike Boquist, ODOT Region 5 Area Manager Ken Patterson, Patrick Wigard of the Region Representative at Oregon Department of Land Conservation and Development, Brian McDowell, Business Oregon's Regional Development Officer, Randy Jones, part of the Regional Solutions team with DEQ, Mike Lees, engineer of Anderson Perry, and several board members were in attendance to discuss funding options and ways to move forward. On April 4th of 2022, Anderson Perry, the City of LaGrande, and Union County and ODOT met as there was a need for an intergovernment agreement to move forward with hanging the sewer line on the 2nd Street Bridge. The City of LaGrande officials in attendance felt there was too much financial liability and that the citizens of LaGrande could end up subsidizing part of the project. We did not feel that we received the support from the city that we were hoping for. On April 19th of 2022, a follow-up meeting was held with the attendees of the March 15th meeting. The discussions at this meeting involved City of LaGrande's concerns that there would only be serving one customer and not considering this as a community project or the economic benefits it would bring to our community. Other topics discussed were how the project would be done in phases and DEQ's loan program with some forgiveness. Randy Jones is researching this option for us before we set the next meeting. We are very thankful to Union County for helping us with this intergovernment agreement and their funding, so the project could move forward while the bridge is closed and the traffic control is in place, saving the fairgrounds thousands of dollars.
Thank you. Normally, when the mayor or mayor pro tem doesn't indicate a time to present, we usually hold it to 3 minutes, but this is important enough, and we have a short agenda, so if you need to go 5, I have no problem with that. Thought I saw a couple other hands up that, okay, go ahead. You just state your name, sir. You don't need to give your address publicly. But...
Ron Dake. I was here at your last meeting last month and testified about the sewer system. At that time, I felt I was just a citizen that was concerned because 25 years ago, I went through this when I was president of the Fair Board, and it went nowhere. The can just kept getting kicked down the street and nothing ever happened. And then I heard there was a lot of interest, so I just came to see what was going on. But since that time, I have met, and that was the suggestion of the council, is meet with Commissioner Scarfo. And I've been in 2 of these meetings, and I'm sort of blown away at how much has gotten done in 1 month. I mean, there's been a lot of movement and a lot of things have happened. And I guess really all I'm asking of you is that to listen and act this time. I mean, it's like I say, I'm still riding on 25 years ago of going through this. And I'd like to see it happen before my days are over. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Sounds like you folks have done a lot of work to get this rolling. Very good. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Melinda Becker-Basinius. I'm on the Fair Board. I'm also a teacher and a LaGrande resident. As long as I can remember, the Union County Fairgrounds has been a huge part of the city of LaGrande through things like the annual fair, various community events, gatherings, bird watching, and various festivals. As I reflect on this iconic place, my thoughts move towards how can we make this a better facility for the citizens of LaGrande? These benefits become a reality by supporting the wastewater project currently underway at the Union County Fairgrounds. What a huge advantage to have working bathrooms and showers and making our possibilities endless, because right now we don't really have that. This space has so much potential to offer our vibrant community. Through this project, we will see an increase in tourism, which will result in financial gains for the local economy. Growing our facility with this project will increase the opportunity for events, family gatherings, and future growth. The Union County Fairgrounds offers our community much more than a space to merely hold events. Many community members have not been aware that the property is home to treasured wetlands with a high bird species population. 126 bird species have been documented on the fairgrounds property. This makes it a popular destination among bird enthusiasts who are working on completing their checklist. The Union County Fair is a valuable asset to our city. This project will only enhance the versatility of our property. We are not just one customer. We represent the vast needs and the desires of the citizens of LaGrande and Union County to improve this valued property in the city limits of LaGrande. Again, I want to make sure we point out it's in the city limits. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kathy Gover-Shaw, and I am the manager of the fairgrounds. I'm a citizen of LaGrande. I actually live on Lake Avenue, where we're hooking in our system here. So the fairgrounds is a year-round event facility. Each event brings people to our area from out of town and helps the tourism in this city, county, and region. Aside from our annual fair, other events throughout the year that use our facility include emergency preparation. We are the base camp for fire crews. We did the drive-through COVID testing and vaccinations. We board animals during evacuations or road closures. We have a campground complete with stalls for horses, which is a great location to camp for use of the Mira facility and access to our amazing bird watching in our back area. We have hosted training for search and rescue and training for service dogs. Other events, the Rotary's Daddy-Daughter Dance is there. We have class reunions, Celebrate LaGrande. We have horse shows, goat shows, and now rabbit shows that I just did get scheduled. We have the Historical Society log cabin there. The hospital has always done their summer picnic there, but they're also adding their gala there this summer. We have various other summer picnics, family reunions, memorial services, birthday parties. We've had several dances for the high school and college students. I've had political meetings, of course, our 4-H and FFA meetings and trainings. This summer, the Optimist Club is using it for the starting and finishing point for their poker run that's going to go up Mira. We have the Eastern Oregon Beer Fest, which of course is with downtown LaGrande. The holiday bazaars. We have the Eastern Oregon Music Festival, which benefits the veterans. We have an Oktoberfest. Color the Blues Color Walk for autism is done there, and a lot of others that I won't list here. But by improving our wastewater system, we would be able to accommodate much larger multi-day events and bring even more people into our area. As I said, all of this brings more tourism to our area, and with the setup we have right now, we are not even an option for a lot of the larger festivals. So in closing, I will say I was shocked when I heard the city manager on one of our meetings continually referring to the fairgrounds as being only one customer with one 4-day event. That was really eye-opening for me, and I hope by sharing this information, it will help bring awareness to our contribution to this city, the county, and our region. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there anybody else that wanted to? Yes, please.
Hello, I'm Amy Horn, and I'm also a member of the Union County Fair Association. Apart from our current restrooms being inadequate and outdated, they're extremely unpleasant, and they're also not handicap accessible. That limits the community members that can be involved in any of the events there, whether they're public or private. And events that go on in LaGrande should be as inclusive as possible. We shouldn't be limiting who can attend something just because we don't have restroom facilities for that. I just feel like that is extremely important to have. While CB's has always been fantastic on keeping our ADA porta potties clean and accessible and stocked, to some people that's such a put off they won't even attend the events. So having events that people want to come to in LaGrande, those people are going to spend their money somewhere. Let's have them spend it here, and events that are in LaGrande, not have them go somewhere else simply because of restroom facilities. The other thing is LaGrande, it was brought up before, LaGrande has one of the most beautiful recreational areas in the state. Mira is fantastic. And the fairgrounds has an RV park that does not have water. We have the tent camping area. We have stalls in the arena for people that come in with horses. Think of all the advantages for visitors to Mira if those facilities were fully usable. That brings so many more people into LaGrande and gives them so many more options on what they can do and where they can spend their money. If they don't want to drag their RV up Fox Hill, they can stay closer to town, which encourages them to visit the business and restaurants here. And it goes back to spend the money here, keep it in LaGrande, keep our tourism alive, not just those that visit, but locals as well. The more open we are, the more welcoming, the more we have the facilities that are necessary, the more people want to spend time and money in their own community. And we want to keep that as much as possible. That's what brings us all together, is all these community events that we are all involved in. You can't walk around fair or beer fest without running into 8 people you know, and you talk for 35 minutes because you haven't seen them in forever. And that's what communities are all about, is keeping all of that together. And this facility is the linchpin for that. And with this one thing that we're missing, water and sewer, that seems like a really minor thing to keep all of these events here and to keep this many people active in our community. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, please.
Good evening. My name is Cody Eby. Thank you, Council. I represent being a parent of LaGrande School District students. I'm also a Girl Scout leader and 4-H leader. That means that we utilize these facilities all year round. We get to hold functions. Our kids put time and effort into the facilities, and they need things to do. These events that are held, they are so important to all of us to bring in our friends, our family, and to make memories together. I urge you to partner with everyone else and help make this project a reality. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else that would like to? Okay.
Thank you, guys. My name is Jamie Jo Haddock. I am a third generation Fair Board member and the current sitting president. It's hard to believe that this year is actually our 150th year. So we're celebrating that this year, 150 years of the Union County Fair. And our goal is always to put on the best county fair that we can. But we recognize as a board that there is so much more to our property than what is a 1 week, 4-day event that used to be 150 years ago. You know, celebrate our ag community. Everybody comes together into harvest, right? We're so much more than that now. We're also a very ambitious board, if you can't tell by how we showed up tonight, okay? We have lots of goals for our property. We have lots of things we would like to do with that, but that foundation starts with basic health needs. We need running water to wash your hands, and we need to be able to use the bathroom safely, okay? And what is good for our grounds, like they've said, is good for our community. It's good for our small businesses. It's good for tourism. What's good for us is good for you. Let's see. We would like to invite a member of your guys' council to join us during our Fair Board meeting so you guys have an idea of what we're doing, where we're at in our projects, and where we want to go. We don't expect an answer back from you tonight unless you have one, but we would like to have somebody come and sit with us and be part of that. And we want the city on our team. You know, we want to partner with you guys because we are part of you, and we have big goals. And what's good, like I said, good for us is good for you. We would like to thank Anderson Perry for their relentless work that they've done over the last 20 years. We'd like to thank Commissioner Scarfo for his leadership when it comes to some fundings that we are actively pursuing right now. And we would like to thank you guys for your time for listening to us tonight. We do have packets of our entire project so that you guys can review to know where we're at. Deb has those to hand out, and hopefully we can have a way to get those to everybody that's listening at home tonight.
Yeah, we can make sure they get one.
Do you guys have any questions that we can answer for you right now?
Any questions for any of our speakers?
I don't know whether it's a question or not, but this is the first time I've ever heard of the city objecting. Maybe I missed the email or something. So not in the loop, I guess, but I was always under the assumption if funds ever became available for this project, it was a no-brainer. We'd move ahead with it just as fast as we possibly could. I mean, I agree with all of you that the potential down there is just unbelievable, you know, with an RV park and access to Mira and all those things. So I guess I'm not in the loop or whatever, but we need to talk about this
Yeah, Kyle,
just as soon as possible.
Yeah, Kyle will give you a little bit of an additional perspective.
Well, I wish the heck we'd have had it a lot sooner than tonight.
Didn't we annex the fairgrounds in a couple of years ago or something? Isn't that, yeah,
A portion of the fairgrounds were annexed in so that we could provide city water.
that's what I thought. That was our purpose.
Correct. There's more, there's a fair amount more to this, and it's still a process that we're in the middle of. So Kyle.
Before Kyle gets up there, if I could ask one question, here's 150 years.
150 years.
Any plans in particular you can share with the council to?
Yeah, Kathy, if you'd like to stand up, we do have our motto set up already and turn around. This is our American Flair. Our theme this year is American Flair at the county fair. It will be red, white, and blue. We have plans to have every stage used every minute of the day. We have more vendors than we probably had in many years. We have concerts. We have partnering with D&B and putting the mutton busting on. We have the parade. We've moved the parade time slot to try to get as many people down there as possible this year. So we are actively working. We're working on our landscaping and beautification. We have some generous donations from local businesses for that. 26 very large water containers are now going to be potted for the entire fairgrounds, removing some of our old decorations and fair stuff to make room for new. New premium books. We partnered with several community members to increase our quilting, our wool, our beadwork, our wood burning, you name it. We're trying to get everybody down there to enter something.
Are you planning on trying to upgrade any of the buildings?
We will love to do that. We just don't feel like we can do that without working water and sewer.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, it would just
know for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a large,
I figured that.
and it's on display, and we can share that list with you and what our goals. Like I said, we're ambitious.
Yeah.
Lots of.
We need to shoot for a record crowd this year.
Yes, yes.
And we did demo the old restrooms that were there because
Yes.
they're unusable. So those were demoed by a private person who came and demoed those for us at about the tune of $10,000.
Yep.
That they just did for us. So
Well, thanks for your work and your time
Yes.
to present to us tonight. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Kyle, sounds like we need to hear from you on this topic.
Sounds good. Mr. Mayor, councilors. So to clarify right off the front, I would like to say it is not that the city has not been participatory in this process. As you heard, we attended all of the meetings, and never at one point did we say, no, we will not serve the fair. Those are not at any point part of this process. Also, on top of that, the fair has not been treated any differently than I would treat any other customer who came in and asked me to hook them up to water and sewer. You know, the requests that are part of this sewerage system are going to be analyzed in the same manner I would analyze any other account that came to the city. From my public works director seat, my job is not to measure the social importance of a project. It's to make sure that your water and sewerage systems stay economically viable, and that the decisions and the recommendations I make to you are based off of that analysis alone. I am in no way questioning the social importance of this project. I am in no way questioning what they're going toward is not a appreciable and valuable asset to this community. My perspective is, and I believe the perspective shared by the city is that the responsibility of the city to bore the potential for debt, maintenance costs, ongoing fees, everything that comes with this project. And those are the part of the analysis and the process that Robert had mentioned before. I understand from the perspective of the Fair Board and their activities that they don't see themselves as one customer, but it's one bill. It's one customer with no potential of adding an additional line to that part of the system for in excess of 20 years. We checked in with planning. We looked at the possibilities of where this could go. And there is potentially one other house that's currently on septic that has who knows when of failing before we could hook them up to the same system.
But we
Okay,
have
thank
talked about this for years and years and years and how we can do this. I know that we have. Since I've been on the council, it's been brought up multiple times, and it was always a promise that as soon as it could happen, we would get it done. So
Yeah, and from the physicality standpoint, it's possible. It's just the question of, you know, when you look at the operations of these systems, at what point does the city want to bore the additional costs that will never be brought back on the return of investment on that portion of the system?
Nicole, you have a question or a comment?
Just a question, if I could. So, Kyle, that I understand this correctly. If this were not the fair, but just a customer who said we would like to hook up, they would bear the expense of running that line out, however much it costs. I'm assuming it costs more the farther you run it. I don't know. And so you're saying that the way the project stands now, the city bears some cost that it wouldn't normally bear if it was a different entity. Is that fair, or am I not getting it right?
Yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head. So basically the proposal that's on the floor is that there would be constructed a lift station that the city would adopt and maintain moving forward for one customer. Anywhere else in the community where this sort of a model has been presented to the city, the lift station itself is owned by the customer and maintained by the customer. We maintain the line once it comes into our gravity fed system. That's a model that works.
So how big an expense is that you're talking about?
Well, if the lift station clogs up during fair and we send a crew out to clean it up, we will pretty much give them any kind of a profit that we would have for the year on that one unclogging of a lift station. That's not talking about upgrades that are due every 10 to 20 years on the lift station, which can range from anywhere from 75 to 150,000.
So you didn't answer my question. I said,
Can I hear you?
So the lift station, all these expenses you're talking about, how much money are you talking about?
To install is what we're.
To install a lift station?
So-
That wouldn't be our, that's not part of the fair has talked that they would be the ones who would construct this lift station. So that's not part of it. It's the ongoing maintenance and everything that goes along with that lift station and that pressure line. It's not the city's policy to hold pressure lines in our system. We have maybe 3 that we maintain for our own lift stations.
How often do they clog?
A lift station,
Mm-hmm.
depending on age, we have some that clog weekly. We have some that go monthly.
Okay, but this would be a brand new one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would be all with the newest things that they can put in. I mean, I don't know what a lift station has, but whatever goes in it.
Sure, it's got a couple of pumps. So
Yeah.
a lot of it depends on, what's being put into the lift station. So usually the biggest problem we have is the adult flushable wipes. So if you take a lift station that's located on the northeast side of the city, we just revamped it last year and we are going out every 2 weeks to unclog the pumps.
Steve, you got your hand up there.
Yeah, so the line would go under the bridge or be attached to the bridge, and you say that the line is under pressure. Is there a potential for that line to break at the bridge and the liability of any sewage going into the river? I mean, I don't understand the liability element of it. I can understand the maintenance costs, but why wouldn't the fair, in buying and paying for the system, own the lift station like any other situation? So I've got 2 questions. One is the liability, the potential, and potential for problems. The other one is ownership of the system. So the other thing that I'm going to throw out there is that I think the council needs to have a session to talk about this. You all have been involved, and I appreciate Robert and Kyle and Mike being involved with what's going on. But like John said, this is the first I've heard about the conversation. And I'm like Marianne said, I thought that if the money showed up, the city would make that connection. And I'm just perplexed at why we're at this sort of juncture.
We need to get a work session scheduled.
I can do that.
That would be my suggestion, because otherwise I think we're going to just keep coming up with questions, and we could use up the whole evening asking those questions and listening and talking about answers.
The other question I have, Matt, is all of the funding available now?
Right now,
I mean, let's not get the cart before
and
before the horse. If the
just to
money's
be
not
clear, I'm not on the fair board. I'm just liaison with the county. Right now, the fair does or will be receiving $1,520,000 as of now. And I believe that I have a request in for the e-board with the state, and it's going to be in September for, I believe it's another $875,000. And the fair has a request in with the federal government for that same amount. And if that comes in, then yeah, the city will not have to fund any of the project at all. So the money is there. The 1.5 will pay for, according to Anderson Perry's numbers, pay for the connection to the fairgrounds.
Okay.
Water's there, sewer.
Right now.
So that's
Right now.
Is that the lift station too then, Matt?
Yes.
Okay.
Matt, what's your understanding about the liability question?
I'm not a lawyer. I don't know that. I'm sorry. I can't talk to that.
I think Nicole had another question.
Nicole, did you have something else for us here?
I did, although what Matt said made me think that this is maybe not even a problem at all. So now I'm really confused. But if they have the money, they could just bear the cost like everybody else. But the second thing, I like the work session idea. I agree with what everybody's saying. It does seem like time is of the essence, because you would want to do it while this viaduct's closed down. I don't know if they're hoping to piggyback on it being closed and get it done. So I don't know if that would expedite the work session or not.
If you don't mind. The county did allocate $250,000 to make this happen right now of ARPA funds. That bridge having ODOT having the bridge closed. Hopefully that helps.
To run the sewer line?
Yes, under the bridge. While the bridge is closed with ODOT, we knew that they were in dire straits. This needed to happen now. And so the county said, well, we'll allocate $250,000 of our ARPA funds to make this possible right here, right now. So we're not looking to close the bridge again down the road.
And I'm assuming the bridge is the most logical place to do it from the design of Anderson Barrett. Okay.
Robert, do you have anything you want to add to the process here?
Well, I think that I agree that this requires a work session, but there are several other moving parts that are at play. One of the things is, the packet that they handed to you is a $2.7 million project. And so one of the things that we've been talking about is the potential for a forgivable loan that would have have to be sponsored either by the city or the county. And DEQ is still taking a look at whether or not this would qualify and what that would look like. And so in terms of bringing something to the council, it would be nice to have some of those questions answered. The sticking point with the lift station is who is going to own and operate it, and then who would maintain it. So that would be a ongoing commitment to keep it current. So 10, 20-year life, you're going to be spending several tens of thousands of dollars to update and upgrade that. So that's a known cost that whoever ends up owning the lift station would incur. So that's part of the equation. The potential for borrowing and being on the hook for, hundreds of thousands of dollars to complete this by either the city or the county with no guarantee whether or not it would be forgiven is a factor that would have to come into play. It's not as simple as just running a line and calling it good and just running water out there, as you'll see as you look at this. So we're in the middle of an ongoing discussion regarding some of these elements. And Kathy, I don't recall saying that we only had one 4-day event out there. The only we've talked a lot about, there are a number of things going on out there, and it is an asset. And we did talk about the fact that when we look at the city expending money to fill some of these pieces, if the other funding doesn't come in, would the city be providing additional customers to help bear the burden of that cost? Yeah, we did have that as part of the conversation regarding whether or not the city would ultimately be willing to do improvements and take on improvements, but no decision has been made. So, again, if for some reason you thought that I said that this is only a once a year 4-day event, I don't know where that came from.
We were referred to as one customer, only one customer. This will only benefit one customer, and that was city made.
It is a single customer. That is a true statement.
Well, it sounds like we do need to have a work session
We're
to
not going to hash it out now.
Yeah.
hash out a lot of questions, it
Yeah, we
sounds
do.
like.
Yeah, and I think that, so the immediacy was related to taking advantage of the closure to hang the line, and that's been solved. So we now have time to see where we go with these other funding requests that are out there.
So Robert, what do you mean it's been done then? You said.
The county has committed to spend the money
So they're gonna hang the sewer line.
to hang the sewer line.
Anyway.
Because that was
Do it.
part of the question.
Okay. Okay, I
Because
just
you can, the Fair Board was looking at saving several thousands of dollars by doing that now and doing an
So that's not part of the question that we.
So
need.
so
Okay,
that's, and I didn't know that had happened, Matt. So that's, to me, that's new information.
Okay.
So we still have a ways to go to figure out who's ultimately going to own the lift station, and are we going to have funding for the other elements of the project, and what does that look like? And the reason we haven't scheduled a work session with the council is there are too many unknowns right now about some of those issues.
Yeah.
We don't even know what the parameters of the potentially forgivable loan would look like.
Because I agree with everybody else. I hadn't heard about this before. I didn't know this was that big of a thing. So
Well, at least some preliminary discussion at a session would be good. And again, thanks everybody for
thank you
coming
so
in,
much.
bringing this up. Obviously, we need to be aware. Okay, if we could, you have anything else, Kyle?
No, I can answer your liability question.
Oh, okay.
It all depends on who owns the line.
Yeah, all right.
So, traditionally speaking on these natures, we don't own pressure lines that sit in the public right of way other than our own that come from our lift stations.
Right.
So all private lift stations that serve one customer have their own pressure line that goes into our system, and we take control and liability when it enters our existing gravity system. So.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
And I would be happy to be on your board to help you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving along, we do have a public hearing this evening. It's actually an open hearing, the second iteration of it from the last meeting, having to do with adopting final local improvement district assessments. And Kyle, that's yours too.
That's me. You get to see a lot of me tonight. Mr. Mayor, councilors, what you have before you, this action form is for the second reading on the adoption of the ordinance that will establish the final assessments for a sidewalk LID from the 2021 calendar year. In your packet is the ordinance that would be approved, showing the assessments to the different properties, the participants, and we've covered this, I think, twice now to cover the staff report and then the first reading in our last month's meeting. But I would be happy to answer any questions you may have come up with between the first and second reading.
Questions for Kyle? Are there any public comments on this particular item? Okay. Any council discussion at this point? Okay, if not, I will close the hearing and entertain a motion on this topic.
I move that the proposed ordinance establishing final assessments for the 2021 citywide voluntary sidewalk local improvement district number 21066 be read by title only for the second time, put to a vote, and adopted.
Second.
Thank you. Second. All right, do we need to read the ordinance by title first before? That's what I was thinking. So if you could do that for us, please.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of LaGrande, Union County, Oregon, establishing the final assessments to the property determined to be specifically benefited by the 2021 citywide voluntary sidewalk local improvement district number 21-066 and declaring an effective date.
Okay, thank you. Any council discussion at all after hearing that? Nope. Okay, let's have a roll call vote on this matter, please.
Steve Clemens,
Yes.
Gary Lillard,
Yes.
John Bozarth,
Yes.
David Glabe,
Yes.
Nicole Howard,
Yes.
Mary Ann Meisner,
Yes.
Justin Rock.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Very good, thank you. Okay, we have no unfinished business. We have a couple of items of new business. And the first one is very similar to what we just did, because this would be establishing a citywide voluntary sidewalk local improvement district for this year. Kyle, you're up again.
I'm back. All right. As we have closed out the 21 sidewalk LID, this action form is requesting the opening of a 22 sidewalk LID. The program itself will allow citizens to do sidewalk improvements, utilizing the city's process of financing through a contractor that we procure under contract under certain unit costs, which will be very valuable this year with the rising material costs. And the one difference we did this year on the LIDs is we've recently updated our engineering staff. So we'll be using this year to kind of train. So we're not really going to designate an area of the city to be inspected. What we're going to do is we're going to take the time to inspect around any road projects that happen during this summer. We're also going to operate off of a complaint or a voluntary basis from citizens. So we'll make sure that the program is advertised out there so that people know about it if they want to volunteer to come in and make improvements, or if we receive complaints, we'll approach the homeowners. So be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Kyle? I guess not.
I think that's a good idea.
Any public comments on this issue? Council discussion? Okay, I entertain a motion.
I move,
Go ahead.
go on, Marion.
No, go ahead.
I move that we establish the 2022 citywide volunteer sidewalk local improvement district number 22-067.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any additional or council discussion before we take the vote? Okay, roll call vote, please. Stacy?
Steve Clemens,
Yes.
Gary Lillard,
Yes.
John Bozarth,
Yes.
David Glabe,
Yes.
Nicole Howard,
Yes.
Mary Ann Meisner,
Yes.
Justin Rock.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the second item of new business we have is to authorize the transfer of appropriations within our current fiscal year, particularly as pertains to the street maintenance budget. Heather?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. What you have before you is asking to approve a transfer of appropriations from $15,000 from contingency to professional services and fees. There was an unanticipated higher paving cost for the Second Street reconstruction project. So, any questions?
Does that have to do with the viaduct repair that we were discussing earlier, the street?
No, that's the Second Street project that we completed from.
Oh,
Adams
right.
District.
Gotcha. Okay. Any questions for Heather at all? I guess not. Thank you. Okay, let me flip over here to the proper page. Any public comments on this proposed action? Any council discussion or questions? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the proposed resolution authorizing the appropriation of contingency to the professional services and fees line within the city maintenance budget be read by title only, put to a vote, and passed.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Stacy, could you read the resolution for us by title only, please?
A resolution of the City Council of the City of LaGrande, Union County, Oregon, authorizing the transfer of appropriations within the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget.
Okay, thank you. Any additional council discussion? Okay, Stacy, a roll call vote, please.
Steve Clemens,
Yes.
Gary Lillard,
Yes.
John Bozarth,
Yes.
David Glabe,
Yes.
Nicole Howard,
Yes.
Mary Ann Meisner,
Yes.
Justin Rock.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Commissioner Scarfo, we get to hear from you again.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and councilors. We don't have much right now going on because of budget season, kind of just trying to get through that, as I know you guys are as well. But our drought situation, even though it has been raining, we're still been not extreme, but right on the borderline. I'm not really a big fan of rain, but we do need quite a bit more, and we are getting some snow up on top, which is fantastic. Hopefully it continues. I think the weather predicts more rain. I don't know what the summer is going to do for us, but we're right on the verge still. Just wanted to have you aware of that. I do have, it's primary elections right now. Everyone needs to go out and vote. I have a quote from our Union County clerk. She wanted me to say this to you tonight. I'm going to read it verbatim. The only time your vote does not count is when you choose, and she really capitalized choose, not to cast your ballot. And that was from the Union County clerk, Robin Church. I've been talking to a lot of people. Everyone's asking me about all the races and stuff going on right now. And I've actually had 2 people say that their vote, why would I vote? It's not going to count. And I think everyone needs to vote. Very, very important. The other thing I'd like to do is recognize and give big thanks to Margaret Davidson. She is retired from Community Connections. She's 25 years. That's done a fantastic job. She'll be very, very nice. Community Connection is very vast. 4 counties involved, senior centers, does so much for our area around here. She'll be very, very missed. I hope her handicap comes down because she says she's going to start golfing more. And big thanks. And Connie Gunnert is replacing her from Wallowa County. And I have really high hopes for her as well. But I really wanted to recognize Margaret Davidson right now. You guys have any questions?
Questions for the commissioner? I guess not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, do we have any staff comments this evening? Chief Bell, how are you tonight?
I'm good. Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilors. I have a couple of pieces of information that I'd like to share with you. The first is, thanks to you, in April of 2021, we implemented a program to create a hiring bonus in an effort to attract and hire certified lateral police officers. I'm pleased to tell you that this coming Monday, May 9th, we have a police officer who is going to be starting employment with LaGrande PD, comes to us with 4 years of experience as an Oregon police officer. Cody Billman is his name. He's been working in Enterprise for the last 4 years. So we won't have to send him to the police academy for 4 months. So this is fantastic. He will qualify for that bonus that we implemented last year. And I would like to invite each of you, if you're interested, to attend his swear-in ceremony, which is Monday, the 9th of May, at 10 a.m. right here in the council chambers. So if you'd like to come, we'd love to have you.
Did you say 10 a.m.?
Yes, sir. 10 a.m. This coming Monday, the 9th. The next thing I'd like to share with you is coming up, we have Police Officer Memorial Week. And I'm going to just share a little bit of information with you, and then I have another invitation I'm going to extend to each of you. In 1962, President John Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officer Memorial Day, and the calendar week in which May 15 falls as National Police Week. Established by a joint resolution of Congress in 1962, National Police Week pays special recognition to those law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. You may know, but I'm going to share tonight. I feel like I'm passionate about this. We've lost 4 police officers in Union County in our documented history. We lost a state trooper by the name of Amos Helms in 1931 on Adams Avenue. We have a memorial marker actually right in front of the local that denotes that. We lost 2 deputy sheriffs from the Union County Sheriff's Office in 1980. They both died in the same vehicle collision. We also lost our very own LaGrande Police Corporal Gary Biasi in 1982 to a training accident. So we will be hosting a police memorial ceremony on, it's a week from this Friday, the 13th of May, and we'll be in front of the law enforcement building at the police department up on K Avenue. This will be at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and you all are invited, and we would love to see you there if you're interested and available. So it'll only be 15 to 20 minutes, but it's important. And I don't know if you remember, we used to have a memorial marker with each of those officers' names on it right here in the front lawn at City Hall. It is now located outside of the law enforcement building where we're at. And so we'll do the ceremony right there. So thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other staff to present? Okay, if not, then that brings us to Mr. City Manager Robert Strobe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Pro Tem, Mayor, councilors. One thing I wanted to touch on is you should have on your calendars the budget hearings, Monday and Tuesday night, May 16th, over at the library in the community room, and we'll start at 6 o'clock. And the proposed budget has been posted on the city's website. It's been provided to the budget committee members, and so looking forward to that. That's all I had. Thank you.
Just 2 nights?
Well, I'm hoping for 2.
Okay, I mean, because you only said 2.
That's
up to
completely
you,
up
Mary
to the
Ann.
14 of you.
Yeah, I know, but usually you put away 3 nights, at least you say. I mean, you
It's up
plan
to
that.
you, Mary Ann.
You've done 3 nights once since I've been here. I do not want to.
Well, I don't care to do 3 nights.
There's a way we could get it done in 1, but there's not.
City Council comments. John, do you have anything?
Yeah, just for the record, I sort of felt with that presentation from the Fair Board tonight that I was sort of blindsided. Don't appreciate that at all, City Manager. You know, we have to have better communication than that when projects like this are involved. So I would hope in the future that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I apologize. I should have kept you aware of that, but we were really preliminary, but fully my responsibility. I apologize.
Yes, I do. I attended the Northeast Oregon Housing Authority meeting last week, and I was kind of surprised that they're still having this issue, strong issue. And Sarah, who was Parker, who was the director there, has sent me these emails about the parking issue and the parking structure. And I thought, I really didn't remember that, but I had to go back and read all these emails that she sent me, that we agreed, the council decided not to, or to include that in our ordinance, that all new structures, public or not public, but any new building structure had to have a covered parking.
Yes.
And I thought, but this is a unit that has already moved down from 104 to 82. And I'm thinking about that, and I think it's a nonprofit, it is a low income, and that's what we're screaming, we need more low income housing. And we're putting this burden on them. And I know some of the burden is the snow removal there, the way it's configured, that they're not going to be able to move the snow with those covered parking. I obviously know that it's financial too. But, and when I was reading in here, Sarah, they had a letter from an attorney that they were requesting a council meeting, that they bring it in front of the council, and you guys refused to have them come in front of the council. And I guess that really bothers me.
What we communicated to them is that the council doesn't have the authority to waive the requirement.
But we could go back and look at that ordinance again and think maybe.
You would have to amend the land development code to change that.
But is there any way that we could I don't know, talk about it somehow? I don't know. It just seems like it's an unfair burden right at the moment when we want housing to go in.
We certainly could have a conversation, but in order to change that for that project, we would have to amend the land development code, which, as you know, is a months-long process. And that's what we communicated to them.
Right. Okay. And I know it's like an extra 400,000 that I'm not sure where they're going to cut it from.
I don't think that
that's what Sarah told me today.
$400,000 to do the covered parking or the overall project.
Well, I think it has something to do with the fact that now that when I was reading these, there was something about senior housing.
Yeah, so let me speak.
And they don't want the senior housing.
Yeah, let me speak to that. They had submitted a revised site plan that reduced covered parking, because we do have a provision that reduces it for senior parking. And so Mike took a look at that and identified that in order to do that, they would have to designate specifically which units, because the covered parking is tied to the units. They would have to be used only for senior housing, and there's a certain provision that would be a deed restriction. And so in order for them to reduce that, they would have had to agree to those things. They opted not to do that. They requested to put the parking, the additional covered parking back in. So that was a decision that they made.
Okay, because when I was reading it, it sounded like the senior parking or the senior housing part was still in that agreement. And
no,
Sarah
Mike,
said
Mike was working today on a revised order, decision order that put it back to where it was.
Because I know that's something they couldn't guarantee, that they could house only seniors in those particular units.
Yeah, to get the exclusion from the covered parking, it would have to be for that specific use. So they would have to track that, report that, and it would be a deed restriction that it had to be that way. And that is frankly very cumbersome. But in answer to your base question, it would require a change to the land development code to not require the covered parking.
So is this going to hold up the low-income housing going in?
I don't believe that it is. I think they have a financing meeting scheduled, and they wanted the decision.
I know they're supposed to break ground in June, is what the plan is.
I know that they've had to adjust some of the project in large part due to increased building costs.
Right. Well, I know a lot of that happened from that. Okay, I just wanted to bring it forward to the council, because I don't think that I realized that it was going to affect all of those, even the nonprofit and the low-income housing. That covered parking when we agreed to it in those units like that. I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of a overkill to me, but.
Justin, do you have anything tonight?
I am good, thank you.
Okay. The only thing I would have is that I think it was latter part of March, did have the senior council meeting, and just wanted to second what Commissioner Scarfo had said about Margaret Davidson. She is officially retired by now. Years ago, I had the pleasure and honor of serving on the board for that organization. They do a lot of very good things for our people, mostly seniors, but not just seniors either. So really hope that she enjoys her time away. Okay, we have an urban renewal agency. Oh, pardon me, Steve, I'm sorry. We have three more, don't we?
You left the three of us out. So.
I'm not hearing them talk.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly, I attended the town hall last Thursday night. Chief Bell made a presentation with some sobering statistics about opioid overdoses. There were four other speakers. Officer Gomez from Idaho, who spoke to, I guess I would say, the problem of social media and youth, and what all that means, and what they're getting into and what they shouldn't be getting into. Kind of sobering there as well. We had the ER doc from Grand Ronde Hospital who spoke about the people that are coming in and that he's dealing with. And then two women, one who's a counselor for people that are in substance abuse situations, and I think both of them do that kind of thing. The message I came away with was that addiction is not biased against anybody. That people of all walks of life will face and can face addiction, and that we have a crisis. We have an issue in this county that is based around counterfeit drugs that look like oxycodone but are not, and people are getting a hold of them, surprisingly, through the mail even, and they're taking more than they should because they don't know what's in them, and they're not pharmaceutical stuff. Anyway, pretty sobering stuff. I know that our police department and our sheriff's department are doing the best they can, but until we can get a handle on people distributing these counterfeit drugs, which contain fentanyl, which is the real killer, that we're going to continue to see our numbers stay high in terms of people overdosing. So not happy news, but I wanted to share that with you because the town hall was pretty important to be there. So
Yes,
that's all I have.
Appreciate that. Nicole? David? Okay. All right, very good. So now I think I can announce that we will be having an urban renewal agency meeting in a few minutes. How much time would you like, Chris?
Just give me about a 5-second break.
Oh, 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So I will adjourn this meeting of the regular city council. We'll be back in a few seconds.
Gary, how many people attended that? I meant to, and I got sidetracked doing something else.
There was about 50 in the auditorium, and then there were some online viewers.
Oh, good.
Yeah, about 18 or 20 online at various times.
Yeah, we're ready.
All right. I'll call this meeting of the LaGrande Urban Renewal Agency to order and request a roll call, please, Stacy.
Steve Clemens,
Yes, I'm here.
Gary Lillard,
I am here also.
John Bozarth,
Here.
David Glabe,
Here.
Nicole Howard,
Here.
Marianne Miesner,
Here.
Justin Rock.
Here.
Okay, any changes to the agenda or anything up here on the dais, Stacy?
There is no changes.
Nothing. Okay. Consent agenda, as with the regular session, we really just have to approve some regular session minutes from last month's meeting. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please, Stacy.
Steve Clemens,
Yes.
Gary Lillard,
Yes.
John Bozarth,
Yes.
David Glabe,
Yes.
Nicole Howard,
Yes.
Mary Ann Meisner,
Yes.
Justin Rock.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, any public comments on any items that are not on the agenda for this evening? Okay, moving on, we have no public hearings or unfinished business. The one item of new business we have is to confirm the authority to accept offers and sell property, specifically referencing the LaGrande Business and Technology Park. Robert, that's yours.
Thanks, sir. So a number of years ago, the agency had granted me authority to accept offers. We wanted to update that and actually do it in the form of a resolution. So essentially what will happen is we'll get an offer on a piece of property at the business park. It's for full price. And in order to be able to respond to that without having to have a special meeting, because oftentimes it's we would like to make the offer. What we've done is I've informed the agency about the offer, have moved forward, and then we've had the agency validate that. Discussed it with the city attorney, and by doing a resolution that grants the authority to accept full price offer when there are no competing offers, that's something that will be valid that we can use in these circumstances. And then in those situations, if we were to receive an offer where there were competing offers, or if there was an offer below listing price, then we would convene the agency to meet in an executive session to discuss negotiations regarding the sale. So really it's intended to, if we get a full price or above offer, I can just move forward with the sale. I will continue to make you aware of that. So it's really just an ease and exercise of authority. Then the title company has this document so that they can include it in closing. We did include in this specifically that we're selling a lot on Blue Mountain Drive. We're closing on Monday. And that was a full price offer of $50,000.
So how many properties do we still have? How many parcels? I'm sorry.
I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'll email out which
Okay,
ones we
thank
still
you.
have. And I'd be happy to answer whatever questions you may have.
And that you said was full price, right?
Yeah, I'd like to insert that in the motion that it says district manager to accept full price offers.
The resolution says that.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Okay, if there are no further questions or discussion, I'll entertain a motion. Any public comments, first of all, on this item? Okay. Anybody care to make a motion?
I move that the proposed resolution authorizing the the district manager to accept offers and sell agency property located at the LaGrande Business and Technology Park be read by title only, put to a vote and pass.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. City Recorder, Stacy, could you read the resolution by title only, please?
The resolution of the City of LaGrande Urban Renewal Agency, Union County, Oregon, confirming the authority to accept offers and sell agency property and declaring an effective date.
Okay.
If I could, just to, for those that were watching at home, the language specifically in the ordinance says this authority shall be limited to offers at or above the agency established listing prices when there are no competing offers. So we do have that covered.
Yep, good thing. Thank you. Any agency discussion on this motion, on this item? Okay. Stacy, roll call vote, please.
Steve Clemens,
Yes.
Gary Lillard,
Yes.
John Bozarth,
Yes.
David Glabe,
Yes.
Nicole Howard,
Yes.
Mary Ann Meisner,
Yes.
Justin Rock.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This expedites the sale too.
It
They
does.
don't have to wait for us to meet.
Yeah, we haven't delayed one yet because what I've done is let you know and then just have you after the fact validate it. And it's really just kind of a housekeeping thing.
Okay.
District manager comments. Robert, anything?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to share with you. So we're working through the first call for project application, and it happens to be a property that is located in the central business zone that is only residential on the upper floors. And what we discovered is when we went in and changed the policy to identify that we were going to get rid of the community comment 15 points and put that towards an preference for upper floor housing, what we didn't realize is that one of the criteria has to do with the benefit to the central business zone. And it identifies traded sector, it identifies commercial inside, commercial outside, but it doesn't identify at all housing or residential only in the central business zone. So for a project that is only upper floor residential in the central business zone, which is the only place that you can grant one of those, we don't have a criteria for points. And so we've got a really full agenda for the June meeting. The packets for the call for projects are going to come out to you, I think, the week before, last week in June. So what my intent is to put on the July meeting a policy change to add that preference criteria. We'll assign it 25 points, which is the next layer down below retail outside the central business zone. The agency will have an opportunity to make that decision. And then if that adjusts from that, we would just revise what those points are prior to the special session where we do the awarding. But I just wanted to let you know that that was something that we discovered as we took care of the per dwelling unit, how many extra points, but didn't take into account that we needed to add that clarification. So it's just an informational thing.
So this project they're only asking for the upper story
Correct.
property, nothing down
Yeah,
below.
it's an existing commercial on the bottom floor, and they're taking property that has not been used for apartments in 60 years and renovating. And so they've applied for funding for that. And then going through, it's like, wait, this doesn't fit one of those. So
Thank you.
that's it.
Agency member comments. I'm going to start with the screen this time so I don't forget. Steve. He's good. Nicole. Nope. David. Okay, thank you. John.
I'm okay.
Marianne?
Okay.
Justin?
I'm good.
All okay. All right. Okay, in that case, I can adjourn this meeting. Thanks, everybody coming.